Not by much. This year I'm getting 6 weeks and 3 weeks. 6 weeks.
Just barely a peanut. Can't even see what this is.
It's you.
And this is again, I knew I was gonna start crying and it's only the beginning. Welcome back, my loves. I got a big surprise. This may not be a surprise because you saw the thumbnail, but your girl is having a baby. And there's no denying this is the biggest blessing ever, having this baby growing inside of me. But it was not an easy road. It was not an easy journey. I don't feel like people talk about the challenges women face with pregnancy enough, and really all of the things that could be derailing pregnancy that derailed me. So trigger warning, we're gonna be talking about birth control. We're gonna be talking about body weight. We're gonna be talking about pregnancy loss, all of the things that I went through, so that hopefully if you dealt with any of the things I've experienced, you feel less alone, you feel supported, you feel like these things are normalized, so you're not shocked if it happens. And when I went through my pregnancy loss, the thing that really made it easier for me was having seen different people's experiences on YouTube and on Instagram. I also hope that it inspires you to ask questions of your medical practitioner, look at certain things in your lifestyle, and just hopefully make the best decisions that are going to support any future pregnancy if that's the journey that you're on. And if not, great. I support everyone's decision to do whatever they want with their life. But I'm just putting it all out there for you. And if you've experienced a pregnancy loss, I just want to say that my heart absolutely goes out to you. And I'm just sending all my love and healing energy, because there's nothing anyone can really do. But like I said before, it feels good when someone can relate and connect. But anyways, it's Thanksgiving. We have some plans. I want to get into this and be as honest and raw. And that means that I'm going to cry so many tears, and I don't want to mess up this fudge. So I'm going to come back to you tomorrow. We're going to chat. I'll share my full journey with you. And yeah, I'll see you in a minute. A day is 3 seconds in YouTube time. And I'm back with no mascara because, like I said, no, I'm gonna cry. But I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I just want to let you know that I am so genuinely thankful for you. I love this YouTube community. We are small but mighty, and it's just such a nice feeling to get to actually connect with a group of people and have them know you deeper than what you can find on Instagram. So I would really love it if you could subscribe to this channel if you have been interested in my videos, or you find anything impactful, useful in them, so we can grow this little fam and share more of this information with as many women as possible. That truly is my mission. So thank you for subscribing. And I had a great Thanksgiving. Nate and I went to the Proper Hotel downtown, the new one. It was very cute. Definitely partial to Santa Monica proper, but it was really fun. The view was beautiful. And it was our last Thanksgiving as just the two of us. So it was really nice to have like a date night feel, because next year will be very different. Hopefully we'll have my mom come, and we'll have a new little baby. But let's start this journey. It's such a long journey, and there's so many stops along the way that I think are going to be really important to talk about. So let's start with birth control. I started taking hormonal birth control pills at 17. I had really horrible genetic acne. Who's surprised? I mean, if you want more about how I healed my acne in that journey, I will put a link to that video. But I was just told it was great, and I was given some information, and I signed off, and everyone of my friends was taking it. I also did want it for birth control, so I was like, perfect, check. And it helped a little bit at times. I continued to take that birth control until I was about 20, 28 or 29 years old. So that's 12 years plus of birth control, or 12 years, depending on when it was. I don't know exactly what month I stopped taking it. But yeah, I had a pretty regular cycle, so I thought, and I really didn't know about any long-term symptoms of birth control or side effects or anything like that. I also didn't know that I was masking my own body's regulation and secretion of hormones with synthetic hormones. I didn't really know how it worked. So I stopped taking them when I was engaged to Nate when I was 28, because I was doing a lot more research and learning a lot more about holistic healthcare. I was like, crap, like this could be potentially doing a multitude of things to my body. Plus, I don't even know my cycle. I've never really been an adult and had a normal cycle, period, hormone secretion. And I was like, this is not good. I need to get in tune with my body. I'm going to track my cycle. I learned that there's only really 3 days out of the month that I can get pregnant. And I had to trust in my partner. We weren't having sex with other people, obviously. We were engaged and we didn't have any STDs. So it was like, great, now I can actually explore my own hormonal health with getting off birth control. But I do want to read to you some of the potential side effects of taking birth control. These are all stated on birth control labels if you want to read the fine print. This is all from medical data, just so you can be well informed about what birth control may be doing to your body. And I'm not sitting here saying that you should stop taking birth control. I think that not having a pregnancy when you don't want it is really powerful for women, because we can achieve our goals, we can do what we want in life. So I'm not saying you should not do that. I just want you to have the information. So some side effects of birth control, these are just like short-term side effects: nausea, vomiting, constipation, bloating, irregular menstruation, spotting, breast swelling, tenderness, decreased libido, weight gain or loss of appetite, mood swings, anxiety, nervousness, depression, changes in vaginal discharge and getting vaginal infections, headaches, dizziness, fatigue, high blood pressure and cholesterol, acne or permanent discoloration of the face, like melasma, fluid retention, bone density loss, hair loss or changes in hair growth, enlarged ovarian follicles. Now, these are potential long-term side effects of birth control: eye problems or vision impairment, gallbladder disease and gallstones, embolisms, resistance to insulin, immune system suppression, heart attack, stroke, breast tumors or liver tumors, ectopic pregnancies, links to certain cancers such as cervical cancer, blood clots in legs, lungs, heart and brain, and jaundice. Okay, we got that out there. So I stopped taking my birth control. I had heard from friends it could take 3 to 6 months to get your period back. So I was like, okay, great. Like, busy planning for my wedding, all that kind of stuff. So it's like, whatever, just going through the motions. 3 months passed, 6 months passed, a year passed, and we were married. And I was like, great, this is not great. I wanted to be in a place where I was really tuned into my cycle, had a normal cycle, felt really confident in my body before we potentially tried to start having a family. And at that point, I was 29. Nate's 6 years older than me. He wants kids yesterday. He was never pressuring me, but he would have been ready at any point. So I wanted to have the power and control to decide when we could start. So I went to my OBGYN at the time and told them about my lack of period. And at that point, it is categorized as amenorrhea, lack of period, or lack of menses, whatever. So they decided to put me on a medication, a progesterone medication, without doing any testing of my hormones, just to see if that could kickstart me having a period. And I didn't really know any better. I was like, okay, great. If that's what you do, we'll just take a pill and see what happens. I did, I think, 2 weeks of that medication. Nothing happened. And then I was like, this is fishy. Why aren't they asking me questions? Why aren't they testing my hormones? So I decided to just completely go the alternative route, the more Eastern route. So I started getting acupuncture done, and I started getting acupuncture done at V Healing in WeHo, shout out. They are wonderful. My mom had really good experiences with acupuncture with shoulder pain, and I had heard they were great for fertility, so I thought maybe they could help me balance my hormones. So I did acupuncture for maybe about 2.5 months on and off, and I did start getting my period back. But it was really irregular again. Like I would have it once and then not have it for 3 months, and then it was spotting, and it was really odd. But it was working, it was doing something. I was seeing the changes, and not only was I seeing something happen, but I was also getting some advice about, you know, slowing down with my high intensity exercise and incorporating more warming foods and different kinds of things I could do. So I started doing that. And, you know, at the time I was still very much in this mentality of a bride prepping for her wedding. I was doing the clean program. I was not eating 1 ounce of inflammatory foods. So I wasn't having chicken or coffee or fruit or anything potentially inflammatory, no grains. And I was very thin. I was probably 15 pounds less than my normal weight. I mean, I'm pregnant right now, so I'm definitely gaining more weight, which is super healthy, and the baby's healthy. But I was a little underweight, and you know, I was eating, I wasn't in any kind of disordered eating besides just control. And I'm a control freak. So having those stipulations and seeing my body change and getting so much praise from other people for my wedding, like, you look incredible, this is the best you've ever looked, you are so beautiful. That kind of positive reinforcement took me down a path of being more body dysmorphic than I had ever been. I would see myself in the mirror and think that there were room for improvements, meaning weight loss. So I was very thin. And one day, one of the acupuncturists I was working with, she was like, in the nicest way, she was like, you're gonna need to gain some weight in order to regulate your hormones. And this was devastating for me. I just had an unhealthy relationship with being this person and having this body. And I didn't want to gain weight. I was scared to gain weight, and I didn't know how that would impact my work, which it wouldn't, but how would it impact my work doing what I do on social media, how it would impact my self-esteem, my self-worth. And it's funny how prepping for pregnancy prepares you for what you might go through in pregnancy and in motherhood, right? Sacrificing things that you think are important to you for someone or something else. And had a whole meltdown, started seeing a therapist and talking to them about it, and also started doing some research that was very interesting, that was talking about healthy BMI and how it can support pregnancy. So there's a very shallow window of BMI that it's the easiest to get pregnant. And that doesn't mean that there's not a million other factors, because there are a million other factors. And also, this is just my journey. So what works for me may not work for you. It's just things to consider. So I was under an 18 BMI, and healthy BMI for pregnancy in the data that I found was between 19 and 20. So a very slim window, but I needed to get into that 19 in order to have more estrogen, which lives in your fat, and have a healthier, hopefully, menstrual cycle. So I gained the weight healthfully over about a 3-month period. I gained about 10 pounds and, you know, did less high intensity cardio kind of exercises and more of just listening to my body. Like if I wanted to take a day off from working out or just wanted to rest, I would do that. I started incorporating more like nuts and seeds into my diet, and like nut butters and avocado and more olive oil, and did it in a way that was really supportive of hormones with healthy fats. And lo and behold, my period came back. So it was really great. I was so happy. And my goal for 2021 was to maintain a healthy weight and get my period back so that I could have a healthy pregnancy. So I was very proud of myself for that. Or was that for 2020? No, it was for 2021, because I started in 2020, but I wanted to maintain it in 2021. So it was kind of my goal, health goal for both years. But this was 2020. So had my period back, and Nate and I, literally the month I got my period back, maybe the month after, but within, 6 weeks, I got pregnant. And we hadn't been actively trying, but we weren't using protection. I hadn't been on birth control in years. And just regulating that cycle and having my body weight up again, we got pregnant so easily. And this is again, I knew I was gonna start crying, and it's only the beginning. Anyways, it was a very happy moment because I had so many fears around not being able to be a mother or give Nate the opportunity to be a father. And, you know, it's something we both really, really want. And it was so exciting and relieving to be pregnant. And I was taking a pregnancy test. 2 very faint little lines popped up, and I wanted to do the whole Pinterest thing of surprising Nate with some really sweet gesture to tell him that he was going to be a dad and tell him I was pregnant. So I thought of something really cute because it was December when I found out I was pregnant. And I had put in an order for like a special made ornament, like baby's first Christmas, super cute. It was like a little knitted dog because we love pones, obviously, so a little knitted dog. And I was gonna give it to him. But first I wanted to make sure that for sure the pregnancy was real, and I'd never taken a pregnancy test that was positive before, so I didn't really know. So I went into my new OBGYN. I found a new one after the last one. I was like, you're questionable. So I found a new OBGYN gynecologist person because I was hoping that I would have a baby. So I wanted to find someone who specialized in delivering babies. So I went to his office, I did a blood test. A few days later, they called me back, told me that the blood test was positive and that I was in fact pregnant. And I hadn't even made an appointment for my 6-week checkup yet to see the heartbeat and all that kind of stuff because I'm a newbie. I didn't really know. And I wanted to tell Nate, and our schedules were crazy because it was Christmas time and we were about to travel to see our families for the holidays. So I wanted to tell him first, and then we'd make that appointment later. So I don't really know how far along I was at that point. Could have been 5 weeks, could have been 6 weeks. I was definitely late, but my period was still, you know, mildly in flux. So I wasn't sure. I'd only had 1 period, so I don't know exactly where I was in the time frame. So got the news. Then I told Nate with the ornament, and it was such a special moment, and we were so excited, and we got to live in this blissful excitement for about a week where we were deciding how we would tell our parents, and we were going to be with Nate's side during Christmas. We were like, great. Or maybe we were going to be with my side. I don't remember whose side we were going to be with. No, it would have been my side. So we were like, okay, our Christmas presents are going to be something to do with grandma and grandpa, and we're going to send these presents out, and that'll be how we tell our families. So we had this just like bliss for about a week. And then I started bleeding. And then I went into my OB's office 2 consecutive times to see if my pregnancy hormone was decreasing. And at that point, I knew the pregnancy wasn't viable. I mean, I bled a lot, and I don't think anything is TMI on this channel, definitely not in my book, but I saw things that were cellular bundles and masses, and, you know, just from my nursing background, I was like, okay, this is not, like, that was a fetal sac, or this was this, and so I knew that the pregnancy wasn't viable. So that was really hard, and I think it was a little harder on Nate than it was on me because it was so early that I was just so thankful that I could get pregnant. And because I have watched other influencers' YouTube videos and Instagram posts about pregnancy loss, I was like, okay, this is super common, happens to like 30% of women, but that means that we can get pregnant easily. So I was like, okay. But still, it was definitely hard. And I cannot imagine at this stage now, being 18 weeks pregnant, losing a pregnancy at this stage. I've connected so much to this baby. I had a really rough first trimester, and I've just been through so much that losing this now would be such a heartbreak compared to the very beginning stages and just a sparkle of an idea of a baby. So if you've gone through any kind of miscarriage, especially in the later stages, like I said, just all my love goes out to you because I cannot even imagine, and I hope I will never have to know what that's like. Anyways, so getting it together. So we had that loss. Then Doctor told me to take a month off, let my body heal. And at that time, we actually bought a house. We bought the house we're in now. We bought a new construction house. It was going to be finished in the fall, in the late fall. Hence, we're like, okay, we need to hold up and take a minute because we don't want to be delivering this baby as we're moving. So we took a pause. We started trying again in May, and on our third cycle of trying, we got pregnant with this little baby that I have in my belly. And you know, really the only things I did differently from the first time to the second time is I increased my nutrient reserves. So I started taking a prenatal. I continued to maintain my higher weight and just trying to reduce stress and relax. And I meditated on it. I tried to manifest it. I talked to this little baby's soul and tried to call it in. And I just so wholeheartedly believe in all those things. So if you are trying to get pregnant right now, there are definitely some things I would recommend. I just finished a full course with Parsley Health because I was still trying to get pregnant. And the first 2 months I was really bummed that we weren't pregnant. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do Parsley Health. I'm gonna find out about my hormones. I'm gonna find out about my nutrient deficiencies. I'm gonna get a health coach's help. So if you're someone who's been trying, I highly recommend that because there could be something simple like a nutrient deficiency that could be preventing you from getting pregnant. Also, there could be a hormone imbalance where a functional doctor is going to look at the nitty-gritty details and not look at you in a wide scope, comparing you to a lot of unhealthy people in our country. So I could not recommend doing that more. I also recommend getting a therapist if you've been struggling with trying to get pregnant, because the stressors and the trauma and the mental blocks that could be contributing to this experience are just not healthy. They don't make it easier for you to relax and be in a position of abundance in your body. I mean, therapy has completely changed my life. I will be in therapy probably until the day I die, who knows? But just having that outside person to be able to really communicate with and open up to is so helpful before, during, and after pregnancy, in my opinion. So that's something I highly recommend. And I also recommend like finding a person, a friend, a loved one who you can really be open with and share this stuff, because there's a very, very weird thing as women in today's modern society that we feel a guilt, or at least I felt a guilt about not being able to have a healthy menstrual cycle or get pregnant. So if you can confide in another woman and be really honest about how you're feeling, I think it's really, really helpful. I have a lot of close, wonderful friends that I was able to confide in and kind of talk about my worries and concerns with. And even if that's you DMing me or writing a comment on this video, I think it can be so, so helpful. So that's what I would recommend. But it was honestly, that whole thing was like a 4-year journey. So if you are someone who wants to have babies someday and has a timeline, even though God will laugh at our timeline, use my journey as an example. It doesn't happen overnight. Give yourself grace, but also look into your health. Look into how you're suppressing your hormones. Look into how to rebalance and rebuild your nutrient stores, your hormones, everything in your power to make sure that you can get pregnant. There are so many factors and variables that you have no control over. And I'm not saying that these few things will get you pregnant, but if you check those off your list and you know it's out of your hands, then there's even less guilt, or there hopefully should be. But take your power back. Take your freaking power back, and don't let anyone tell you that you have no control over your fertility, because you do. You have some control. This is your life. This is your health. And don't let any doctor, don't let any troll, don't let any family member tell you that it has nothing to do with you, because you have a lot of power and control in the situation. That's all I have to say about that. But I just did want to share my journey. There's my journey. And I will be sharing so much more pregnancy content. Let me know what you want to see in the next video. I'm like, house content, pregnancy content, house content, pregnancy content. I'm definitely torn, but I thought it would be really fun to share a first trimester recap because some funny shit went down. Your girl was not herself at all, and there were moments that I recorded and captured on film. I'll do some preview clips. Smells so good. Something about that perfectly shaped egg. It's very exciting, but I feel so sick. I can't even drink my matcha. So we got a little Starbucks passion fruit unsweetened shaken iced tea. Hopefully that makes me feel better, but it won't, because that's just my life, but it's gonna be all worth it. And it was a wild time. So I was thinking about doing a first trimester recap and just recapping all the trimesters with personal anecdotes, stories to make you feel, again, less alone and for you to get a little giggle. Favorite products that really saved me and just a little insight. But if you made it to the end, you are a real one, and just know that I'm always here for you. You are a fucking badass. All women are such badasses, and we really make this world go round. We create life. So no matter what's happening in your life right now, just know that you are a powerful being and that you are capable of absolutely anything, because, wow, women are badasses. And if you're a man, we need you too, and you are also very valuable. But women, we're doing a lot. I hope to see you next week. I love you so much. I hope you're not disappointed that this wasn't a how you told them you were pregnant video, but if you want those, there's a million of them on YouTube. So I will see you next week.